Republicans know this, of course, but it seems House Republicans are not done there when it comes to higher education, and neither are Dems. Axios reports Republican House members are proposing a sweeping higher education reform bill next week, which in part aims to fix this problem by capping federal student loans and incentivizing universities to ensure their students succeed post-graduation. Meanwhile, Democrats advocate for solutions like loan forgiveness or free college. So what's the real story here when it comes to taxes and higher education? And could even tighter restrictions be around the corner for grad students? Steph Kite at Axios wrote that article there, and we caught up today here in D.C. to get the inside scoop. We know the House has this provision that is going to eliminate these deductions for grad students. The Senate doesn't. The Senate's kind of a bigger deal. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, and so when it comes down to it, higher education is not a huge issue for Republicans, right? It's not exactly their base, so that's probably one of the reasons why some of those provisions were in the House bill, and the Senate does not include these provisions. And I was actually talking to an aide of one of the senators, and he told me that, honestly, with these issues, the Senate's probably going to win out.
I wonder why it was in there in the first place. If it was just to turn the knife a little bit on higher education, because you turn on any talk radio on Fox News and you hear, you know, universities are the bastions of liberalism, they're indoctrinating our children. Is it just a way to say, like, all right, guys, relax?
Well, I think partisanship is a huge issue when it comes to that. I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago, Pew Research came out with a poll that showed that a significant number of Republicans actually saw higher education as hurtful for our society, while Democrats see it as beneficial. So I think that is one issue. It's playing to partisanship. And the other reason is it provided some income, right? And that's always the issue with these tax bills is you want to give tax cuts, but you kind of need to make sure the government's making enough money as well.
Okay, so in the end, what are we looking at out of 100%? What are we thinking how much the tax bill is going to be Senate ideas and House ideas?
It's those big six issues, right? That's what they're really caring about. What's going to be important is going to be the corporate tax rates and the pass-through rates. That's what people are most concerned about. So when it comes to the other things, it'll probably go mostly the Senate's way.
The higher education leaders in the House, pretty far-right Republicans in some cases, they have some other ideas for when it comes to students that grad students are definitely not going to like.
Right, there's a higher education bill that's set to be proposed sometime this week by House Republicans, and one of the provisions would be that it would set a cap at how much money students could borrow from the federal government, and that's just one of several maybe not so popular ideas in that bill, and it's something that Democrats are furious about. I actually talked to some House Democrats who were on that committee, and they were shocked when the Wall Street Journal kind of leaked that this bill was going to be coming out. Democrats were horrified and said they would absolutely oppose it, and everything that they'd seen in it was terrible. So it'll be interesting in the next few weeks.
I took all federal student loans when I was in school, and I consolidated them. With private student loans, you don't have that guarantee, and you could be on the hook for a much higher rate.
Yeah, and I mean, we see this is an issue, right? Tuition prices keep going up, and I actually did a piece recently looking at some data that showed that the cost of their education is falling on students more than it's falling on state funding. So state funding seems to be going down per student, and students are actually having to pay more for their education than they ever have, while these rates keep going up. So we're in this crazy situation where kids have to go to college and get their education, but then it's also expensive for the government to fit the bill as well. And so it's very complex. There are lots of different sides of the story.